Hey everyone, welcome back to Great Sports Debates. We had another good week, a bunch of good wins. Hopefully you're following as a pro member. You did really well again this week. Let's make our adjustments. Now keep in mind this is Sunday. We still have 2 games we haven't seen yet, but I'm giving you what you want. You want your power rankings early, so we'll go with what we got. At 32, back where they've been most of the season in the basement, the Carolina Panthers. This team is just not good. We've talked about everything from the quarterback play to the lack of weapons to the defense being on the field too long. Bottom line, this team just cannot generate offense, and the defense isn't great either. They're a really bad team, and they're probably going to be giving the Bears the first pick. All right, at 31, we got the New York Football Giants. This is a team that really, to me, looks like the worst team in football a lot of weeks. But they do have, I think, 3 wins now on the season, despite having their third-string quarterback in, a terrible offensive line, and a defense where they trade away one of their good players from their top unit on the defensive line. So somehow they beat the the Commanders. I'm glad I was able to avoid that game. I'm glad it was a big line, so I avoided it. But I still don't have a lot of faith in the Giants, and I'm still going to bet against them heads up almost every week. At 30, we got the Patriots. Same story. The offense is just really bad. The quarterback situation is tough. I feel like they should just kind of stick with Mac Jones so they can make the easy decision that he's not the answer going forward. At 29, we got the Tennessee Titans. This is another team that was lifted a little higher just based off of some wins that they got. But if you look at this team, they have one of the worst quarterback situations in football. Levis is clearly the future because the other 2 quarterbacks can't play at all. I had some hope in that first game, not necessarily on Levis, but the fact that he was trusting DeAndre Hopkins, which is one of the few weapons on this team, despite his advanced age. But the line play is not good. The defense gives up a lot of points. They seem to get blown out a lot. We have the Tennessee Titans at 29 near the bottom. Next up is Arizona. I know they only have, 2 wins on the season, but I do feel like they played better with Kyler Murray. They won last week, and then today they gave Houston a good showing. So it'll be interesting to see if they can continue to move up from here. At 27, we got the Atlanta Falcons. Again, this is a team that has some interesting pieces, but abysmal quarterback play, and that's going to keep them near the bottom. At 26 is the Chicago Bears. They gave everything they could to the Detroit Lions, and with all the turnovers, I think if they would have got all the turnovers they should have gotten, they might have been able to pull that out because they did miss on a pick 6. For sure that I know of, as well as the 3 interceptions that they got. I do feel like this is a team that could be not 500, but could definitely beat some of the bottom tier teams if they continue to call games and give Justin Fields the green light to run, because I think that makes their offense totally different. At 25, we got the New York Jets. This is just a tough one, no matter how good their defense is. Their offense just isn't good enough to get them wins. I see them in a downward trajectory, and I think that they'll be able to beat some of these teams below them for sure, but they're going to have a hard time challenging teams, especially if they get down early. At 24, it's the Green Bay Packers. This team, not a lot of faith in, but they're better than some of the bottom feeders we've already discussed. I'm not a huge fan of Jordan Love, but they got some good play calling. The defense is good enough, and they can run the ball. If they lean on their running game, they'll be good enough to, show better than the bottom tier of the league. At 23, we got the Washington Commanders. They got swept on the season by the Giants, which is pretty hard to do considering they got 3 wins on the year. I don't really understand this matchup. I didn't watch a lot of this game. I figured it'd be pretty terrible, and it was. But Washington, sometimes Sam Howell looks good. They do have some pieces. They did fire sale a couple of their good defensive linemen, so it'll be interesting to see how Washington does going forward. At 22, we got the Denver Broncos. Now, mind you, this is before the Sunday night game that I'm doing these power rankings. I do expect them to lose to Minnesota despite Denver being favored. So, if Denver pulls that off, maybe they could jump up a couple of spots here. But this is where I have them for now. And if you're following our picks, I took Minnesota money line because I think they're going to win outright. And I also have them involved with a teaser play with the Eagles. Next up at 21, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the interim coach is doing a great job. He's playing to the team's strengths and he's handing the ball off. They couldn't get the job done this week, but they played Miami tough. And honestly, I was kind of surprised. I thought the Raiders played better than I expected to in this game. And they've really done good the last 3 weeks since the coaching change. So maybe they'll be able to finish up middle of the pack. But it's kind of tough sledding because they're in a tough division and a tough conference. At 20, we got the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think they played San Francisco about as well as they could. Baker, there was a lot on him where it was obviously passing plays and having to go for a 4th down to keep that game close as the 49ers were rolling. I just don't think they have enough on both ends to compete with the big dogs in the league. At 19, it's the New Orleans Saints. They got a pretty good defense. The offense has been underwhelming. It's a team I thought could break out from here, especially considering the division they're in. And maybe they go on a run. But they've gotten beaten down by some teams that really aren't that good. So we'll see how the Saints finish out the rest of the year. At 18, I got the Colts. This is kind of the tough part of the power rankings. There's a lot of similar teams in the middle here. You don't have a good read on. Again, they have a strong offensive line. They've been able to score pretty well. And the defense is starting to come together. They were able to slide by and get another win last week. At 17, we got the LA Chargers. This is the lowest I've had them all year. At some point, you are what your record says you are. And despite all the playmakers that they have on offense and the confidence that I have in this team's offense, they just make too many mistakes. And the defense isn't good enough, bottom line. At 16, breaking into the top half, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, obviously, they dropped quite a bit, not just because of their loss to the Ravens, but they are 5-5, and they have Joe Burrow out, and they're coming into a tough part of their schedule. So, I don't know how long Burrow's out for sure, but this might be something to look into if you're a Bengals fan, because they're in danger of not making the playoffs, because they're in one hell of a division as it is. At 15, we got the LA Rams. This is one we told you to pick. I said take the Rams and the points. I think I didn't avoid myself there because that was kind of like a borderline one. But the Rams have matched up good against Seattle. And you have to remember, this team has had a lot of injuries so far this season. They're a team that I'm not going to count on or bet quite yet. But they show them they're capable again, beating Seattle again. And despite their record, I got them at 15 right now for how they've been playing since Stafford's come back. Speaking of Seattle, I got them at 14. I know they lost twice to the Rams, but overall body of work, they got a better record. They've had a better season overall, and this is a team that could sneak into the playoffs. They're well coached. They run the ball well. And they do everything pretty good. And like I said, the Rams are just kind of an underrated team, and they match up well with them. At 13, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've said all year I've kind of had them in this range. Not a big fan. The offense showed as inept as we've been saying for weeks, but their defense was also lights out like they are every week. This first close game, the defense couldn't steal for them, but I'm not blaming the defense because they did everything they could. The offense just shot themselves in the foot too many times and really couldn't do anything. I think the Steelers are going to be in any game, and they've proven, with their win in Baltimore, that they can really beat or hang with anyone, maybe outside of the very top tier of teams, just on how good their defense is. At number 12, we got the Minnesota Vikings. I wanted to wait and catch this game to see, do I want to slide them up a couple of spaces? Do I want to slide them back a couple of spaces? But I know a lot of people have been complaining where they're at here. They should win this game on Denver. We have a bet on it. See that in the pro membership column. We actually have 2 bets during that game. But one of them is for Minnesota to win. So I expect that they should. And if they're as good as all of you guys are telling me are, they should have no problem with the Broncos. But we'll see tonight. At number 11, we got the Buffalo Bills. Again, this team has like a point differential of like 100 points or something. I think they're, 6-5 now, something like that. But I just can't have them any higher than this, and I'm avoiding them. The Bills have burned me more than any team this year. They have the talent. They just make too many mistakes. They have some really bad play calling. I mean, I know they changed their OC, so maybe that changes. But they go for too many big shots too often and don't set them up with the run when they have a really good running game. And the defense did play better this week. But, I think Buffalo's more talented than number 11. But that's kind of where we are at trust factor. And I'm going to be cautious with any team similar to them in the ranking at betting them at all. At number 10, we got the Houston Texans. They continue to look good. CJ continues to find a way to get things done. Will Anderson Jr. got another sack. So this is a young team on the rise. At number 9, we have the Cleveland Browns. I was back and forth. Do I want to put Houston here? Do I want to put Cleveland there? Based on the record, based on the division, I gave the edge to Cleveland. Even though I don't know if I'd pick them against Houston straight up, I'm going to give the edge to Cleveland right now. I really don't like their quarterback play at all, but they quite possibly have the best defense in the league, and they can typically run the ball pretty decent. This is definitely a team that's a threat for the playoffs, and I think if they can figure out the quarterback position, they could be a tough out. All right, this is another one I was back and forth on, but I had Jacksonville at 8. I know most of you will be saying I should slide them up further. They had another big win, but I just don't think that they would beat the other 7 teams that are ranked ahead of them. But they're looking good, and their offense is clicking kind of how we expected. They have a stud on the edge side and some pieces on defense. Another impressive game, despite not playing necessarily a great team in Tennessee. At 7, I'm going to have the Lions hold still here. I know some people had already mentioned to me that they think Jacksonville should be leapfrogging Detroit because they barely beat a bad Chicago team, and Jacksonville killed a bad Tennessee team. But at the end of the day, I think 7's kind of the bottom floor where I could have the Lions right now. I can't see them any lower. The fact is they won 80% of their games at 8-2, and only one other team in the league has done that. At 6, we got the Miami Dolphins. They found a way to get it done. although not impressively against the Raiders. But they win again. They stay on top of their division. And they got their young rookie running back, so that's just another weapon for them on the offensive end. Another tough call here at number 5. Sliding Dallas back to 5. I know they won as expected. Big game over Carolina. And they're doing everything they should. The only reason I slid them down is I had a back and forth toss up and I slid Baltimore back into the 4 spot. They beat a tougher team this week. They're in a tougher division. They beat some tough, I think they beat more top teams than Dallas has at this point. We're really splitting hairs here. I like these teams very similar, but I'm giving Baltimore the edge in the 4 spot. All right, interesting way we're going to finish up our top tier here with the top 3 teams. Again, with the Monday night game not playing yet, I'm going to take the easy way out, and I'm going to say the loser of the Philly-Kansas City game is going to be the number 3 team in our power rankings. So I know this sounds like a cop-out, but I just got to be fair here. These are the teams I had 1 and 2 this week. I was surprised that Philadelphia was getting some points, and I teased that up, and I think that's a good bet to jump on. I don't think Kansas City's going to blow them out, but never count Kansas City out of blowing anybody out because they just have a loaded team. But for the 3 spot, we're going to go with the team that loses between Philadelphia and Kansas City on Monday night, which leaves San Francisco at number 2 with another impressive showing. They had a hitch for a while. Brock Purdy still makes some errors here and there, some bad throws, some misreads, standing around too long in the pocket, but they look dominant as ever. He just needs to keep handing the ball off. And then obviously at number 1, we got the winner of the Philadelphia-Kansas City game. That's our power rankings. Let me know what you think. As always, I appreciate the like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Also, there's the pro membership. If you're looking to pick up some money, you can see our record. We've been just killing it on the games I've been picking. I challenge you to find someone that's doing that better. But hit me in the comment section. Let me know who I have too high, who I have too low, and why. And we'll have some fun with it. Thanks a lot.